I turned 33 this year, and these are the things I wished I'd learned sooner. If you're like me in your early 30, working a corporate job, and don't have everything figured out, this one might be for you. A lot, particularly in a corporate environment. Once upon a time, I used to think that if I did great work, that work would speak on my behalf and that I don't have to do any self promotion. So to speak, at the time, I thought self promotion was a shameless thing. Turns out that was a load of naivety and a bit of BS as well. What I found is that when I was at the bottom of an organization, it didn't matter how much work, how much hard work I put into a deliverable, a file, but in the end, after that file had gone through five pairs of hands, five levels of review, and it went to the partner, nobody at the top knew that I was the main architect behind it. And then when it came to performance evaluation, because no one knew the hard work was done by me, I didn't really reap the result that I was hoping for. So what you really have to do is to make sure that all the efforts, all the hard work that you put in is seen by someone. Make sure that it is on paper, someone knew that you put in all the effort for this so that when the really important time comes when your performance is being evaluated, people know that it's you who did the hard work. And trust me, when you're at the bottom of an organization, and when you were still trying very hard to build the goodwill with people, you do a lot of hard work, and sometimes you stay silent to keep them pleased and to keep the peace. A lot of people, well, maybe not a lot, but some people certainly will be motivated to take the credit that you deserve and to hoard all of that credit for themselves. Don't let that happen. Make sure all of your hard work is visible and seen and that your name is on the score sheet. A mentor is not the same as a sponsor, and you need both. Had I figured this out maybe 5 years earlier, I think my career would have gone a lot further than what it is now. At the time, I thought to myself that, oh, if I find a good mentor, that person is going to help me grow both internally and to help me advance at the workplace. Turns out that is not true. Fundamentally, growing internally and advancing at the workplace to me had turned out to be two different games. And because they are fundamentally two different games, you need different coaches for them. A mentor is, or would be one that you trust completely, one you can talk about, you can talk with about not just your personal issues and some of the interpersonal issues at work that you encounter as well. Things like, oh, should I stay with this company for another year, should I leave after a busy season, is this job actually good for me? Is it healthy to stay here? That's the kind of story that you talk to your mentor about. Your sponsor, on the other hand, is the person who is willing to use their political capital at work to help you advance. This person should have some sway and power in the organization, so to speak, and has seen enough of you to have trust in you so that he or she can put his or her political capital on the line and be willing to vouch for you so that when it comes time to a promotion, a special project that could help you grow your visibility in the workplace, or to get that bonus, this person will be willing to speak on your behalf in the room where you're not at so that your name is heard, your name is heard and seen by the right people at the right place. A quick, clear no is not cruel, but it's kind. A clear no right from the get-go saves a lot of time, headache, and heartache further down the road. I'm thinking back about a 6 month relationship that I had when I was in my early 20s. I had just started dating right out of university. I didn't have any experience. I didn't know what I like. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know the person that I wanted or would get along with. So I went out with this fella. The back, in the back of my head and my heart, I liked him, but I kind of knew from the get go that it wasn't going to work. He and I were very different persons. We liked different things. We didn't really see the future in the same direction, although you might say at that age it's very difficult to know what the future would hold. But I knew, I mean, the point is, I knew at the time it wasn't going to work in the long term. But because I felt like I had to make this work, I had to try harder, I wasted a lot of energy and effort into trying to make it work. And in the end, it didn't. Had I told him no, or had I been kind enough to terminate this relationship right after I knew it wasn't going to work out, it would have saved us both a lot of time, and we both would have been able to move on with our lives and go and find the person we actually should be with. But I didn't do that. So sometimes when I think back about this, I still regret at the time that I tried. And also, I feel like in the professional workplace, a quick no can help you and your team refine focus. I don't know if you're like me, but I'm very sure a lot of people find themselves saying maybe instead of no because they don't want to offend the person. Saying no to someone straight away is very difficult, but a lot of the time that's actually the right thing to do. It helps you save time, it helps the other person refocus, and it helped the organization move on to things that actually matter. And what I had learned from the CEO of the previous company where I worked at, Hootsuite, which is a tech company in Vancouver, is that not everything that you say no to is bad necessarily. Sometimes you have to say no to good things so that you could say yes to better things. And only by doing that, you can take a good shot at excellence. As you grow up and grow old, you will outgrow some people, and some people will outgrow you. And that's okay. In fact, that is expected, and that is just how life is. When I was at university, I made friends with a great group of people. We went to business school together, we had classes together, we started working full time together at firms all in Vancouver. So, for the first 1 to 2 years of our early career, we stayed very connected. We went out together. We shared experience, share all the challenges and difficulty that we encounter at our workplace. How we and then we share several very memorable moments together as we passed the chartered professional accountant exam together in the same year. However, as we matured and went on with our lives and our career, we effectively went different ways. Some people moved out of town, some people got married and started growing their family with children. Their priorities shifted. I've always been very career conscious, so even at this age, I'm 33 years old. I don't have children, and I devoted most of my time, if not all of my time, into my career. That's not how everyone liked to spend their time. And when I first noticed that this happened, I try very hard to reach out to my friends, set up play dates or brunch so that we could reconnect once in a while. And my effort was not reciprocated. And at the time, I was sometimes very upset and felt a hint of resentment because I feel like, oh, all of the efforts I put into maintaining this friendship and relationship should be reciprocated. Thankfully, I don't feel that anymore, and now I've just accepted that some people have outgrown me. In certain aspect of life, I have outgrown them in other aspects of life. We are all adults. We made our choices, and that's just what it is. We grow apart because we don't value or prioritize the same thing anymore. That's absolutely okay. I still wish every single one of my friends the best. I treasure all the great memories that we've created together, and if ever we find an opportunity to get together, I'm always, always very grateful for the memory that we can continue to create, however rare that is. And I think that is still a true mark of a good friendship. This last one is an important lesson that I've known for a long time, but I still haven't quite managed to master it or practice it perfectly, but I'm still trying. That is to avoid the comparison trap. Comparison is really, really the thief of joy. A lot of people out there, particularly people my age, have attained certain level of success that I envy. Some people have made partners at accounting firms. Some people have become directors, senior directors. Some people have some people bought their property in Vancouver before they hit 33. I used to look at that and compare their achievements to what I've achieved and felt very behind. I feel that if we have certain age, we we kind of grow our careers in the same city, have access to the same pool of talent and people, what we you know what we achieve when we hit a certain age should be somewhat comparable, and turns out that's not quite the case. And whenever I think about this, there is still a hint of doubt in the back of my head on whether maybe I'm just not good enough, maybe I haven't tried hard enough, maybe there's something they know that I don't that help them get ahead faster than I have been able to. And I try to talk about it with people who are a lot more experienced, more mature than I am, my parents, my significant other, and they remind me that everyone tries to put their best faces forward. So what you see or what I see is only the forefront. I don't know this I don't know what's going on behind. I don't know what kind of sacrifices that they've had to choose to get to where they are. And I also don't know if they have certain advantages that I don't have. And even when I talk to very successful people, they often remind me that everyone is kind of winging it in a certain way. 30-year-olds are winging it, 40-year-olds are also winging it, 50-year-olds are still winging it, and everyone is figuring out their game and their destination as they go along. And not everyone is supposed to arrive at the same place at the same time. That is the beauty of it. And really, my job is to stop the comparison and to also focus on my own journey, figure out where I should be going, what makes me happy, not not what not what I think would make me look good when I compare myself to other people, but really what my own journey is. And only then I can really feel what happiness and accomplishment should feel like. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tu. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. I make these videos to document my journey, but if you're watching them and have derived some value, I would greatly appreciate a subscribe and your comments below in letting me know how I can further improve the quality of the future videos. And with that, thank you for listening, and I will see you next week.